The video that I'm about to make today is not for everybody. This video is for the language learners who are struggling to learn a foreign language and who often stop and start and who often sort of fall off the bandwagon. They give up for one reason or another. They keep making excuses and they keep kicking themselves for making excuses. I want to help you out of that vicious cycle. I believe it's a beautiful and meaningful thing to know a foreign language. It really can open the doors of your life to a much wider and more meaningful life, a life where you're going to make connections with so many fascinating people from all around the world. So I really want this to happen for you. I'm going to lay out some philosophies that will help you to reorient your thinking, and then we're going to get into some tactics, okay? But I need you to stick with me through this video. I think one of the things a lot of people who struggle with foreign languages will do is that they're often, they're not committed to the follow-through. They have a follow-through problem. Now, you clicked on this video because you're struggling to learn a foreign language, so stick with me on this video. I'm going to help you. And leave me some comments down below. Let's get the conversation started. First of all, so many people want to learn a foreign language, but they're not willing to do the things which, if done daily, would guarantee it. Learning a foreign language, just like anything else, has its habits and routines and methods and modalities and tools and trainings that go along with it. You're going to have to learn how to install those. You're going to have to learn how to implement those. And if you do them, you will get the result. Also, I think that your level in that target language, whatever target language it is, your level in that language will never exceed your level of personal development. I know so many people, I know so many friends who, they say they want to learn a foreign language, but then they make excuses about it. They say, oh, but I too often feel bored with my study sessions, or I feel frustrated, or I can't find resources for that, or so-and-so criticized me or made fun of me. And all it does is reflect back upon their level of personal development, their level of character, how much they've developed their self-talk to be positive and to be constructive. So language learning really it's going to reveal to you what kind of person you are, how you see yourself, and how you see the world. If you work on yourself, I know this seems counterintuitive because you just want to learn the language, you just want to do the task, but you're going to have to think about working on yourself. Maybe it is you who is getting in your own way, and it's not the language at all. It's not the language, it's not the task of language learning. Those things are not anything particularly special. It must be you. It comes down to you. Okay, now let's get into some tactics. I'm going to break this down into 3 steps to help you break through all of these problems. Let's not make things overly complicated. Let's keep things simple. I'm going to give you 3 steps, and there's going to be some ideas or some tactics in each step. First is to just get started. Second is to look for ways to add enrichment and accountability into what you're doing. And the third thing is to just don't stop. Never stop. Okay, first thing, getting started. Just getting started will work wonders. You are never going to overcome all your rationalizations and excuse making and analysis paralysis in your mind by thinking more and talking to more people. The way that you're going to break through that is by taking some concrete steps, however small, to actually begin. Okay, so you need to take some actions, and imperfect action will trump thinking and talking every time. This is something that I wished I had learned earlier in my life. Now, 2 very simple things. I'm going to make this very simple for how you can get started. Find a YouTube channel that you really like and think is interesting. I recommend finding one that goes through beginner phrases because you need to master all those beginner phrases. I am shocked that I know so many people who have lived in China, who have lived in my vicinity and have been my friend for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and they've even studied those basic phrases, those introductory phrases so many times and forgot them so many times. They haven't mastered the introductory phrases of the target language. Okay, find a video that's going to help you learn all those basic daily life conversational phrases and questions, and make flashcards for what you learn along the way. Maybe you can make a simple goal of 5 flashcards a day or 10 flashcards a day. Put them into the Lightner system, spaced repetition system. This is not hard, it's very simple. I've got videos for it on my channel. Just use physical flashcards. Don't start thinking about, oh, which app should I use for that? Okay, you don't need any apps. Just cut paper, make some flashcards. Keep it simple. Okay, do that until you start to gain traction, but then continue to do it until you've mastered the content and you will never forget it. Once you've gotten started, and I realize that a lot of you are probably saying, Matt, I've got started so many times, but I just fail weeks later or months later. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about now. The next thing that you need to do is to find ways to add enrichment. To put it in a simple way, you got to make it fun. You got to make it interesting. You got to find things that are going to keep you excited about the learning. You need to mix things up sometimes. Don't approach things in such an academic way, in such a traditional way. That's a sure way to, dampen your fire. That works for some people, but not for a considerable number of people. I mean, especially as we get older and we get really busy with our lives, our jobs, and our families, and some of our other goals, it can be painful to open a textbook and study things in a traditional way. It doesn't have to be that way, so make it fun. Pursue the language through the doorway of things that you find interesting about the culture. Pursue the language through activities and modes that you find interesting for other reasons in your life besides language learning. Okay, unite those passions with your language learning. If you really like sports, for example, learn this language through the lens of sports. Also, you need to build in some accountability. Now, this is something which would really help you, but which I could also see you might not really like, because other people, if the accountability is done right, it's going to be urging you, coercing you, coaxing you to come out every week or to come out twice a week and to learn that language. You need to maybe join a class, or maybe get a tutoring partner or an exchange partner, or maybe you want to run with us. We're running the online gaming groups for language learning. We do them for free every Saturday, okay, because I really want to help you. You can learn more about what we're doing at languagecardgames.com. But accountability is really helpful for people who do not yet have the strength and consistency to learn and grow on their own by themselves. So many of us, when we're left to our own devices, we become a slave to those devices. Okay, I just made up that expression, but I think it's really cool. So many of us, when we are left to our own devices, just become a slave to those devices. What I mean is we become captured by superficial entertainments and time wasting. So sometimes you need to hitch yourself up to somebody who's more disciplined than you are, so you can learn their mindsets and adopt their practices. And then hopefully you'll be strong enough to fly on your own and teach and mentor other people to go through the process in the same way. Okay, beyond that, step number 3 is just to never stop. In a way, this is the simplest, most effective advice I can give you, is just don't stop. Figure out what it is about you that lets you keep stopping and starting. Stopping and starting actually is not a problem as long as you keep on starting. You just need to start more often and more frequently so that you realize, there's no need to stop at all, not even once, for any reason, for any excuse. So figure out what it is about you. You can do anything in life except give up halfway. If you're the kind of person who's going to give up, halfway or a quarter of the way, you're never going to ever have that feeling, find that joy that comes when you've mastered something, when you've put in the hours over time. I mean, who wants to live a life like that? I mean, understand what the pain of that is going to be like, to never know the joy of having truly gone through something and mastered it and seen it through to the end. Okay, this is my greatest wish for you, that you can find out what that means in your own life and truly experience it. Now, I've put out a lot of content to help you. I've got the blog at languagecardgames.com. I talk about in my blog how I became a language learner. I talk about some of the typical things that trip people up and how to overcome those typical obstacles. We've got the games, which have study guides and online gaming groups to support them. So I'm trying to make language learning really fun for people all over the world. So check out more of this channel, browse around. I hope you will like, subscribe, leave your comments. We also have a lot of motivational content that is purely based around developing yourself psychologically for whatever task, whatever goal you may have. But I truly hope these things can help. Let me know what target language you are struggling with in the comments section down below, and let me know why you think you're struggling with it. If I don't have some advice or some content that I can share with you that fits that thing, I hope I can at least point you in the direction of somebody who does. I'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye for now.